Bree, Dad, and Mom. Alright. Design is not just what it looks like and feels like, design is how it works. Steve Jobs. The world is advancing at an exponential rate with technology being a key part. It is safe to say that we now live in the digital age where any amount of information can be accessed almost instantly through a device that can fit in your pocket, and it functions on the same level as a computer. You can make a phone call and talk to anyone around the world with the touch of a few buttons. Technology is advancing at a rate that might seem intimidating to keep up with, but when it is used to its full potential, it truly aids humans in the way we never anticipated. A statistic about mobile phones states 91% of all adults have their mobile phone within arm's reach every hour of the day. My name is Dylan Moreau, and I'm going to share with you why I would like to represent Apple and their ideas by informing you of 1. Why Apple is a great company, 2. How Apple stays competitive in the marketplace, and 3. How owning an Apple device can benefit you. One factor that sets Apple apart from the competition is its simplicity. Steve Jobs emphasized the importance of making simple yet effective devices, and he was correct because of how successful the company has been under his reign. If a product is really complicated and it has too many buttons and features, it is almost pointless because the average consumer won't know what to do. The consumer will most likely get frustrated with the product because they can't figure out how to do the essential things on a device because they are bombarded with complicated tools and functions that they are not familiar with. I will parallel this situation with that of driving a car. Let's say you're looking to get a new blacked out Lambo and you want to test drive it first. When you get in the car, you smell the new leather and you can feel the quality of the car. But it has a bunch of buttons and gadgets you aren't familiar with, and it's a manual and you have driven an automatic your entire life. So when you try to drive it, you won't know what you're getting into, and it won't be any fun, and you will just risk getting into an accident. All of this is avoidable with the simplicity of products that Apple brings to the table. Another reason Apple is such a great company is because of their customer service. If something ever happens to your Apple device and you take it to the Apple store, you will be happily greeted and ready to be helped instantly. The Apple employees know a plethora of information about their products and are glad to help. One way Apple stays ahead of the game is by being competitive. It seems like Apple has always been the golden standard in the market, and all of our competitors have just been trying to break even with our technology. One reason why we are so far ahead of the curve is because Apple starts working on its products 2 years in advance. For example, every iPhone that is released around October or November has already been designed and signed off at least 2 years prior. The same applies for most of the Apple products, and this is why competitors have such a hard time keeping up. Apple and Android have always been two peas in a pod when it comes to competition. When Apple releases a new device, Android always tries to one-up Apple by releasing something of the same nature. There has always been a big debate about which company's products are better. The answer lies in the profit margins. Apple makes 70% of all profit when it comes to the sale of smartphones, and 85% of profits when it comes to the sale of tablets. Apple wasn't the first company to come out with a touchscreen phone, but they made the iPhone jump off the shelf in a way no other company could. Apple is also one of the best companies that knows how to reinvent products. For example, Apple didn't invent the MP3 player, but they made the world appreciate the idea by releasing the iPod, which changed the game. Apple is not the company that invents things, it's just the company that takes a great idea and adds its own genius. In this day and age, almost everybody has a cell phone. There are many options when you want to purchase one, including BlackBerry, Android, Samsung, and Apple. All Apple devices are appealing because of their simplistic design and their app-based layout that is in sync with their easily accessible app store that goes hand in hand with iTunes. Not to mention over 120 million units sold since the release of the first iPhone in 2007. Another advantage of owning an Apple product is that when you buy one, it will sync up with all of your other Apple devices. For example, if you have an iPhone, iPad, and an Apple TV, you can control the Apple TV via the iPhone and the iPad, as well as make purchases on one device that will transfer over to the others. Before Apple was around, you would have to have a phone made by one company and a laptop made by another, which made it more difficult to sync up the devices. With all of this being said about Apple, it should be clear why Apple is dominating the market. Apple is a great company because it stays 2 years ahead of its competition, and owning an Apple device will make your life easier because of all the features Apple has to offer. It doesn't matter what type of devices you have because they generally all serve the same purpose. To make our businesses work, they enhance communication and productivity the best it can be. With everything Apple has to offer, it would make sense to go with them because of their success under one of the greatest innovators and entrepreneurs to walk this earth, Steve Jobs. Even though Steve Jobs is no longer with us, his company lives on and is accelerating at a pace that will take us into the next realm of the digital age.
Good.
Yeah, that's it.